Alright guys, United have won 1-0 at home, the first home win of the Premier League season, and to be honest with you, I'm not saying that as a proud statistic. It's not a proud statistic, but it's 3 points nonetheless, and as we said going into the game, that's all we wanted from the game. We wanted a good performance as well, but realistically, the way we've been playing and the up and down nature of the way we've been playing, no consistency, the fact we got a win, we have to take the positives from that really, but again, the performance was what we've seen time and time again from this Manchester United team this season. And if we were playing a better team at home, no doubt we would have lost that game, or at least drawn the game, no doubt in my mind. But we got the 3 points. We got the 3 points, and that's all that matters in my book. Footy Talk and Dazza, thanks for joining us always, guys. Really appreciate it. Dazza says, finally a home win, not too chuffed though. I think a lot of people are, have that echo that same sort of feeling. The idea that we got the 3 points, but to be honest, performance was pretty flat. It was a pretty flat performance. We probably could have won by a few more goals if it wasn't for Sam Johnstone, to be fair. And as we were discussing just yesterday, former United goalkeepers coming to Old Trafford is always a recipe for disaster. And he saved the penalty as well. He was off his line. I tell you what, without VAR, we would have... we probably would have drawn that game. We would have drawn that game without VAR and potentially even lost it because the penalty that was overturned against West Brom that went in our favour, which is very, very debatable. And I want to hear what you guys have to say about it as well in the live chat after I have my thoughts. But without VAR today, we lose that game 1-0. We probably lose that game 1-0 if obviously West Brom do convert their penalties. So a lot to think about. Kobe, thanks for joining, mate. Appreciate it. He says, Wagwan Kieran, I'm doing well, mate. I'm doing well. I'm doing good. United have won, so obviously I'm doing good. I'm in a good mood, but the performance is hard. It's hard to ignore the performance. But the lack of creativity at home, it seems like away from home, we can create chances, we can make opportunities, and at home we struggle. We really, really do struggle this season at creating chances and imposing ourselves on the game, really. West Brom, again, sat back like we all expected them to. They soaked up the pressure really well, and if they had got a few more lucky breaks, they'd probably come away from Old Trafford with something today. They'd probably come away with something. Obviously, Callum Robinson hitting the post with his first touch, or the bar, sorry. That header that just looped over the bar. So, West Brom could probably count themselves unlucky that they didn't come away from Old Trafford with at least a point today. Congratulations for 25 subscribers, by the way, Footy Talk. You deserve it, mate. Make sure to check out Footy Talk's channel as well if you aren't already. Dazza says, should be winning without a penalty. That's why I'm annoyed, because we can't win games without VAR and penalties. Yeah, that's obviously going to be the main concern, really. We haven't scored a goal from open play at Old Trafford in 4 games. In 4 Premier League games consecutively without a home goal, which is, again, another mental stat from Man United's point of view. And it's frustrating, and I remember I was on Rich's stream, not sure if he's going to show up today, but I was on Rich's channel, he was doing a watch-along, and I said just before I left for the second half, I said we'll probably win this by Bruno Fernandes penalty. Just as I said that, he gave away a penalty. Obviously, it got overturned, and then obviously he scores a penalty. And it's so predictable. It's so predictable how these sort of games pan out, especially against the smaller teams. We get a bit of luck, we get a decision, and we get the ultimate luck of being able to take the penalty again when he was off his line. To be fair, I think even when Bruno Fernandes scored, Johnston was off his line as well, so it would have been retaken again even if he'd missed it. But yeah, Fernandes, for some reason, his penalties aren't as good. I think the keepers have started to really cop on to what he's doing and what his technique's like. So welcome Abdi. Thanks for joining, Abdi. Really appreciate it. He says Ollie out. I'm sure we're gonna have a few people saying that tonight. I'm sure we are. And it's a debate we've been having on this channel for so long, Abdi. And I think ultimately Solskjaer is gonna have most of the criticism, and I think that he does have to take some criticism. The fact that Van der Beek didn't start, or Van der Beek didn't even come on to the 80th minute. Where was Donny Van der Beek today? I don't understand why Juan Mata was playing. I think for me, I think he does suit playing against teams which play a low block more than he does playing against teams that we have to counter attack more. But today, he was so slow when he had the ball. His decision making isn't as quick as it used to be. He plays some decent balls, but ultimately he kind of dawdles on the ball a little bit. You know, he's not someone who just like gets the ball, touch and releases it. He takes a bit of time with it as well. So, you know, Mata for me didn't play that well today. He didn't play that well today, to be honest. But you know, I think I can't believe Van der Beek didn't get in the side. I can't believe he didn't. Although, to be fair, I thought our midfield wasn't that bad today. I thought Fred, Matic and Bruno Fernandes all had, you know, fairly decent games. I would give my man of the match to Bruno Fernandes, to be honest with you. I think, you know, the fact he scored the penalty, scored the only goal really, and he also was creating a lot of stuff. He was trying things out, playing some nice passes in behind. Our finishing was poor, really wasteful today. Martial had 1 or 2 chances. Rashford had a chance as well. Fair play to Sam Johnstone, but yeah, our finishing again needs to improve, especially at home. Abdi says, where was Pogba? Pogba apparently had a knock. That was the official story, that Pogba had a knock. But I don't know. I really don't know what's happening with Paul Pogba. I'm not sure whether it's just all the comments and speculation around him. Ollie likes to do that. You know, the fact that Greenwood's not playing as well. You know, he likes to take players out of the limelight, and maybe he's doing the same thing with Paul Pogba. Footy Talk says, but I'm shitting myself for Southampton. Don't worry about your language, by the way. You can say whatever you like on this channel, of course. But yeah, I think against Southampton, it's not going to be easy whatsoever. It's going to be very difficult. Going away to Southampton, it might suit us being away from home. And I was shitting myself for the Everton game, to be honest with you, but we ended up coming away with a comfortable 3 points. But I think Southampton are a very good side. They've started the season very well, and I don't think they have, you know, injuries like Everton and West Brom did, because both Everton and West Brom, the last 2 sides we played, haven't had a full strength team coming into the game. So if Southampton do have some injuries, then we probably have a little bit of a chance. But it's so weird saying that. It's so weird saying that, you know, we're going to St Mary's and, you know, we're very worried about being beaten. You know, that is just shows where we are right now as a club. That shows the ridiculousness of the situation right now. Kobe says, how come we have to win with a pen against West Brom? I know. That's obviously going to be the most frustrating thing, and probably the point that's brought up the most on this stream. Tellez, Footy Talk Tellez was decent. I thought Tellez was very good. I have to give him an honourable mention, because for someone who hasn't played in that Manchester United team since when was it? When was the last time he played? I can't remember the last time he played, but Tellez was actually very good. I thought he was very comfortable on the ball. I noticed that a lot. He was someone who was able to take passes, and his first touch was very good. As Dad says there, his shooting was atrocious. I mean, we're trying those kind of FIFA corners where you just, dink the ball across the face of the box, and then you kind of just walk onto the volley, and like, if it goes in, it's if it goes in, it's a wonder goal. It's one of those Pulse goal specials, but those sort of goals go in one in every 100,000 times you do it. So I didn't understand that tactic, but obviously it's the glory goal. It's like it's the goal that everyone wants to score. The kind of hit across it on the volley from a ping pass in. It's just like the most satisfying goal you can score. But we tried it a few times and ultimately didn't work out, but I thought Tellez today was very good, and I think he was probably the only player behind Bruno Fernandes that I would have given man of the match to. And actually, I thought that Edison Cavani, when he came on, did a really good job. He did a lot of important work in terms of holding the balls up, holding the ball up as well. So for me, I think he'd definitely be in there in terms of man of the match performances. Tom, thanks for joining, really appreciate it, mate. He says, smash and grab football, let's go. I know you're loving that smash and grab football, mate. But yeah, as you mentioned as well, Sam Johnstone could have saved the Titanic. Mate, I'm telling you, it was mental. What he was doing. I mean, as I said, it always happens. It always happens. I mean, it shouldn't come as a surprise anymore. It shouldn't come as a surprise. Every time a former Manchester United goalkeeper comes to Old Trafford, he has an absolute worldie. There's no surprise there, really. No surprise. So for me, fair play to him. Obviously, he saved the penalty at first, and as I was saying to the guys before, if without VAR we would have lost that game, because they wouldn't have checked the fact that Sam Johnstone was off his line, so Bruno Fernandes wouldn't have been able to retake the penalty, and the penalty that was given on the field would have stood, and probably, as we know, David De Gea's penalty record isn't brilliant, they probably would have scored the penalty, and we would have come out of that with a 1-0 defeat. So really, the introduction of VAR has saved us in this game. That being said, I think we did create enough chances just on the balance to win the game, but our quality going forward and our pass in the final third towards the end was poor, really, and I think our finishing as well. The finishing from the likes of Martial and Rashford just wasn't there today. It just wasn't there today, unfortunately. We could have been 1-0 up much earlier than we were in the game. A good move from Rashford to Fernandes to Martial, and Martial's shot was a good save, but realistically, from that distance away, that close distance, you should be kind of whipping it closer into the corners. But hey, I'm not a striker, but I just think for me, Martial could have done a lot better. Rich, thanks for joining. As I said, make sure you check out Rich's watch along as well. Some great reactions on there, I'm sure. I kind of predicted the result. I said just before half time, before I left, I said we'll probably win it through a Bruno Fernandes penalty, and Bruno Fernandes obviously gave away a penalty basically straight after I'd said that. But yeah, make sure you check out Rich's stream as well if you haven't already. Great stuff on there. He says, hi, we joked about the subs, 80 to 85th minute, Ollie didn't let us down. I know, it was I mean, that's what we were saying. I mean, obviously he brought on Cavani a little bit earlier, but yeah, we saw Van der Beek and McTominay coming on really late in the game. I don't understand that. I really don't understand how Van der Beek wasn't introduced a lot earlier, because you could see in the game that West Brom were kind of starting to come out a little bit, but we were still lacking that killer pass in behind. And I also thought the running in behind today wasn't great. I thought there were some times where Martial or Rashford could have made a darting run in behind, but instead chose to get it to feet. And for a team that's playing a low block, they don't want to be defending against runs in behind. They want players to get the ball to feet, because all they have to do is just close the player down, and then they have no space to operate. Whereas if you've got someone who's a quality operator in midfield, like Bruno Fernandes or like a Donny van der Beek, who can put a really nice ball through and create something, if you've got enough movement, the defence is going to find that really, really difficult to defend again. But unfortunately, I don't think we had the movement today. Yeah, Daz, I might, get people on for a little while. I basically, right, I saw before I went live that because I'm using the free version of StreamYard, the amount of hours you're allowed to stream per month is kind of decreasing. So I think it's like 20 hours live per month. So I'm going to have to probably cut down the length of my live streams when I use a StreamYard software. I might have to go back to the OBS software, who knows. But yeah, I'm probably going to have to cut down the times I stream for. So with that being said, this stream probably isn't going to be really, really long like usual. But yeah, I'll put the link in the live. I'll put the link in the live chat right now. So if people want to join, they can. But it won't be for long. So I'm not going to be. Yeah, unfortunately, I won't be able to get you on for long. But if you want to have your kind of, it almost be like I'll just go round it each person. They can kind of have a little bit of a discussion, and then we'll probably end it. Because the reason why I titled it 3 points was because realistically, there's not much else to say. I think a lot of United fans watched that game. For me, it was one of the most frustrating games I've watched from a Man United perspective, and that's saying something, considering we're Man United fans, and we've watched the first kind of 11, 12 games this season where it's been so frustrating. But for me, this is probably the most frustrating game, and we've lost 6-1 to Spurs at home. So for me, just the kind of lack of game management at times as well towards the end. It was hard to watch. It was hard to watch, but we got the 3 points. As I said, that's the positive we've got to take from this, is that we're now in the top half of the table. I know some of you are going to be laughing at me saying why are we celebrating being ninth in the table, but you've got to take some sort of positive. And I guess if we are going to be positive, it's that we are top half of the table, and we've got a game in hand, and we took 3 points as well. That's the main thing, I guess. If we came out with a draw, then this stream would be a lot more down. I'm sure everyone else would be a lot more down. I'm sure a lot of people, like Abdi said earlier in the stream, would be kind of shouting Ollie out. And obviously, we're probably not going to get the same volume of people saying that on social media. But obviously, after a performance like that, even after a win, you have to question some of the decisions that you made in that game. But at the end of the day, 3 points will probably kind of mask that slightly. But I'll get the guests on. We've got some people in the waiting room, so we'll get them all on. And That's an introduction, Tom. But yeah, so right, who have we got? We got Tom, we got Dazzle, we got Footy Talk, and we've got Rich. Thanks for joining, guys. Appreciate it. As I said, I won't be able to have you guys on for long. Probably the stream won't be going for as long as usual, but it'd be good to hear what you guys have to say. And just before I get into asking you guys what you have to say, Kobe says unacceptable. Donny only plays 10 minutes. I think a lot of people concur with what you're saying, Kobe. There, I think it's very, very difficult to understand how even after 8 league games that Donny van der Beek is still yet to make a league start, even though in every game he's come on, we've seen him make a very, very good impact. Maybe we're seeing something that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer isn't seeing. Who knows? We'll add Matthew to the chat as well. But yeah, we'll just go down the list of people who are in the call right now. And by the way, any channels I mentioned, make sure you do check them out as well. Really, they'll really appreciate that, and I'll really appreciate it as well. Share the love. If you're watching and like Manchester United content, make sure you check out all the channels mentioned on the stream. We'll start with you, Tom. Obviously, we almost know what you're going to say from your first reaction to coming into the call. To be honest, I almost don't need to ask you how you felt about that performance, but I'll ask you anyway. How did you feel about today's win?
Oh mate, wow. What have we turned into? It's gone from counter-attacking football to now smash and grab football. Seriously, just on another day, like you said, if VAR's not in this game, we lose games like this. It's ridiculous. West Brom at home, and we're beating them 1-0, right? And we didn't even score it from open play. We scored it from a penalty, and we had to retake the penalty. I like to put in the comment section, Sam Johnstone could have probably saved the Titanic tonight. Yeah. If the Titanic happened tonight, he could probably save it. It was that. Honestly, I just don't What are we actually learning these players in training? Seriously, are we even practicing shooting? Minimum. Are we practicing shooting? Because all I'm seeing when they do these silly training videos is just passing the ball around, and you're like right next to each other. A pitch is about, I don't even know how long a pitch is. Massive.
100 metres.
You know, it's absolutely massive. And you're passing the ball around as if you're just next door to each other. It's ridiculous. Like I said, I don't honestly know what we're learning. Like we take tonight, West Brom at home, Old Trafford. You can say there's no fans there. Yeah. Tonight, West Brom should have had a penalty. Let's be clear here. If that's against Manchester United, everybody here would want a penalty for that. Yeah. No doubt, everybody would want a penalty. So there you go. That's a penalty. Probably with the way the game was going, they would have probably scored, and then the game starts at 1-1. Then they hit the crossbar. Very, very unbloody lucky. 2-1. We could have lost the game tonight. We could have lost this game tonight, seriously. And we can laugh all we want and everything, and make up excuses. The team wasn't that and everything. I think we know week in, week out what team is going to play. And the main thing I question here, right? Why are we playing 2 holding midfielders at home against probably the worst or the second worst team, a championship level team? Why are we playing 2 holding players at home against West Brom? It makes no sense to me at all. Van der Beek, let's just talk on him in a minute. He's 6. Honestly, I just don't know. 8 games in a Premier League season. He's been here. He could have played any one of them. He's not had an injury. He's not been unavailable. All he has done is sit on the bench, and he gets 5 to 10. He gets either 10 to 20 minutes to do something. It is a joke, right?
I mean,
and we're talking.
People
are talking about right. People are talking about give Ollie money, right? Well, let me say this to you. Why would you give this man money when all he's going to do is he's going to buy players that he wants and he's just going to chuck them on the bench? Because it wouldn't have surprised me if he would have gone and blown 100 billion euros. And it's funny how I say it, but Sancho, what would he be sitting on the bench week in, week out? I don't think he would be. But it's ridiculous. And people talk about giving money and giving time and everything. 2 years now. Come on. 2 years. Right, we're rolling 2 years.
This is why I question whether... Sorry to interrupt you, Tom. This is why I question... why I question whether Donny van der Beek was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer signing.
He's not.
I don't think he was.
If he can't start against West Brom, then how are you assigning to this man? How? I don't know. Seriously. I don't even.
Well, if the main thing that annoys me, then he would have started it, wouldn't he?
The play, yeah, exactly. If this was Jack Grealish, he would have started tonight. If this was Jack Grealish in this Man United team rather than Van der Beek, it would have been Jack Grealish would have started tonight. As simple as that. Exactly the same with if you bring in other players. If you brought in, I can't remember. If you brought in, what was the other player? I can't remember his name. Madison. We wanted Madison at one point. If you bring Madison into this team, he'd have started tonight. Why are we not starting this player seriously? And it's exactly the same with Cavani. Why are we bringing players in who we're not even giving at least one game to? And all I'm going to say, at a club like this, if you're a top player like Van der Beek could walk into half the teams in Europe and sit on the bench if he wanted to. He would be pushing to get a start. You're telling me he wouldn't start in Real Madrid's midfield if he went?
Well, he was about to. He was literally about. He was out the door basically, and then Van der Sar pulled him back in, and said, "You're going on a different plane."
And if that doesn't prove one thing, and as a player, if you can't start against West Brom ahead of Matic, who is completely legless, against Mata, who is completely legless. The only thing that keeps Mata in at Man United is his intelligence. That's it. If he didn't have intelligence in football, he's just probably even worse than Lingard, to be honest. Honestly,
that's a blast from the past.
It seems Lingard. It just seems like we've lost the game, but we haven't. Somehow we've on it. Roland Istanbul. If we don't beat on like I said, he should have gone to the Istanbul game. He should have gone to the Istanbul game. Honestly, if he doesn't beat Everton, right, let me just say this to you now. If he doesn't beat Everton and didn't win this game tonight, would anybody sitting here still be saying he should still be in a job? Let's be honest there.
It'd be difficult to say that.
International break he does. Yeah. Van der Beek has the international break that he has with the Netherlands, but he doesn't start against West Brom. But he can play, against major teams such as Italy, teams like this. But he can't play against. I can't even name a West Brom midfielder tonight. Honestly, it's ridiculous. Absolute joke. There we go. Mateus Pereira.
Probably their best player on the pitch.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Sam Johnstone for me, probably. I honestly.
Sam Johnstone, mate. I mean, it's the Ben Foster. It's the Ben Foster thing. It's a Ben Foster enigma.
Yeah, the main thing though that tops it off for me tonight is Martial for me, and I'm not having a go at him here, but he just looks completely. He just looks so. In a way, he just looks depressed. To be honest, he just looks absolutely depressed. And the thing that I've noticed with Martial is when we're not scoring goals like week in, week out, like blowing teams away 2 or 3-0, he's when we do that, he's absolutely amazing. He'll be probably one of the best players in the field. But when we're struggling and we're trying to get a goal in the game, or it's 0-0, or we're trying to hold on for a 1-0, I saw Tottenham, right? And I was just last point, Tottenham, Heung-min Son and Harry Kane, in terms of teamwork and in terms of being a team, they were on the edge of their box, helping out forward, helping out everything. And all I'm going to say is this: the play of this. If Mourinho, and it's a long shot, but with this year, Liverpool haven't got a defence, City are how they are, Chelsea haven't got a defence. All they've got is attackers. That is all Chelsea have got, seriously. And all I'm going to say is this: it wouldn't surprise me if Tottenham went and won the league this year. And to be honest,
the way they're playing,
it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. And do you know what? I'd love them to do it. And it would just show how crap we actually are in terms of we've got no philosophy, we've got no mentality. I heard Bruno Fernandes talking about in the international break. Man United have the mentality to win the Premier League. If you can't beat West Brom, where is the mentality to win a Premier League title? If you can't beat West Brom, If we were in the Championship, this is Championship level. If we were in the Championship, would we even get out of the Championship? If we're playing like teams like this,
and you have to remember as well.
And I'm saying this in reference to Borough to Dazza. Borough would have probably done what West Brom would have done tonight, and they would have won the game.
Well, whenever Borough play United, they always tend to score. At the last 2 times Borough played United, they scored at home. And then
exactly. It wouldn't surprise me.
Got a smashing grab at Old Trafford.
Yeah, it wouldn't.
And you're talking about West Brom, right? And I said this in the preview. We can't underestimate them. Now, we can't. They were probably the best team in the EFL Championship. Really, I think they should have won the league ahead of Leeds. But I think everyone says that. But
probably.
No, they were much better than Leeds were. The best, probably defensive team and attacking team in the Championship. They're the worst defence in the Premier League, but I just don't think the Premier League level. But today, we underestimated them. They came and tried to snatch something, and really, I thought they were unlucky to not get a point out of that.
They should have got a point.
Though, the penalty for them, though, I thought he got the ball. I didn't think it was a pen. I'm not gonna lie.
I think he got. It was a 50-50
There's contact, right? There is contact there, but I thought he got a touch of the ball. So that's why I didn't think it was a penalty whatsoever.
On a different camera angle,
the handball was weird. I mean, the blatant handball. It's not natural.
Yeah, the problem is that obviously with the handball is that he's kind of turned his back, but he's not even looking at the ball. So you feel like it's kind of harsh to give that. But obviously it's like the letter of the law. What are you going to do about it, really?
If it hits your arm or your hand, it's handball.
I think
exactly.
If you block a cross, you block a shot. I think they're giving them, regardless of whether it's intentional or not. If you turn your back, you still blocked a shot or blocked a cross. I think they're being.
The game is just so stupid with rules now. To be honest,
they did that with Lindelof against Brighton. Lindelof had his back to it, and I think it hit his hand as he was running back to goal. That got given as a penalty. I don't necessarily agree with it, but I think if they're going to have a stupid rule, at least be consistent with your stupid rule and just do it the same for everyone.
And don't just do it Don't just do it one game and then don't do it the next.
At least be fair.
Yeah, exactly.
That was one of the worst penalties I've seen from Bruno. But I think they couldn't argue about the retake. Sam Johnstone's jumped about 10 yards off the line. Yeah.
They did get down to the head for that as well, didn't they? Coming up the line when he made his
they did. Yeah, against Palace. Yeah. I mean, Mr. Boba Django here, thanks for joining. He's saying Ollie's got more lives than the cat. It seems like Bruno Fernandes' penalties have got more lives than the cat. It seems like he can take... It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if he misses. He can take them as many times as he wants. He can take them as many... But listen, I'm not complaining, obviously. But like we got the 3 points in the end, and you know that's obviously the main positive. But I do agree with what you guys are saying. And I mean, Daz, you mentioned there that we underestimated West Brom. And in some ways, you could argue we did, but at the same time, if we underestimated West Brom, then why are we playing both Matic and Fred? If we were underestimating them, like
why should we play them?
Surely we should have played in a more attacking formation.
Yes, but the thing is, Ollie's one of them managers who's going to stick to the same formation because the 4-2-3-1 formation often works for him. Now it worked tonight, but there was times it worked and times where it didn't. Now, I can certainly see where he come from. You know, against a team who were bottom, and you know, I do agree we should have gone more attacking. And I thought Cavani was the worst player on the pitch when he came on. He was terrible. But you know, he's trying out different players. I mean, that's the first time I've seen Matic start for a while. I didn't think he was too bad. I didn't think he was amazing either.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think we should be going more attacking, but I've said it before. If we underestimate them, we could lose. But really, we should have lost. But
it should have been a draw.
Ollie obviously feels like the 4-2-3-1 formation is his best. You know, it's his best system.
I think he does. He likes to kind of he likes that familiarity. I can't say. I'm not even going to bother.
Familiarity.
You know what I mean? That's it. Familiar. Yeah. What Dad said. He likes to kind of like be consistent with his formations. And I think really obviously he played
Matt. Not suit the way we play. Let's just hold it out. 4-3-3 is a counter-attacking style. That is 100%. How you should play. That's how you should play. You don't play. Because pretty much the way we play is we're playing everybody but the striker in our own half. This is more of a defensive system. And the thing is, and the only reason why I believe we're actually playing this system and we're playing this way is because we've got nobody who's got legs in the central defenders.
I was going to say that.
Can't run, and we don't have many mobile players.
We thought Lindelof was injured, but because Lindelof wasn't injured...
Why are we playing him?
I was
Rashford's
had
to
come
off tonight because he's injured. Rashford fanboy. What? And now you've going to got him injured. Who are we going to play there now? Seriously. I don't want to see Matter. I don't want to see Matter. Why are we playing Van de Beek out there? He's got legs for crying out. Any player who's got legs can play on the wing. let's be clear here. You could have played Tellez further upfield and brought Williams on if you wanted to have. You could have brought, you could shift somebody else over there.
Yeah. Well, in these press conference, he mentioned Lindelof having a back problem. So I was like, right, so there's a player who isn't going to play.
He's playing players that are half injured.
He starts him. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
and he
I was surprised.
Some of his
and he plays 90 minutes.
Very, very questionable. He talks about someone being injured, he's probably not going to play, and then he bloody starts them.
Yeah, he'll probably play Pogba next.
It's the same thing with Greenwood. I was thinking. I mean, I remember doing the preview. I was kind of saying like, probably Rashford probably won't play, but Greenwood probably will, and then obviously it was the complete opposite. So I mean, I don't know. It's hard to predict these days, really, what's going on, and it seems like Solskjaer, his decision makings it's difficult to predict them, but I guess it keeps us on our toes. At least it's not it's not the same lineup every week, but I guess you would like that consistency if we're doing well. But Matthew, I'll bring you in. Been very, very patient. Obviously, you've heard what the guys have had to say about the performance in general, at least. Who for you? Let's go on a bit of a positive note. Who for you stood out today for United, if anyone at all?
Yeah, thanks for having me on again. Couple of players. Tellez did pretty well on his debut. Thought he was quite promising. It was nice to see someone whip some balls in. I thought Bruno had a good game as well. I thought he was. He got dispossessed quite a bit, but he was definitely creating chances, and he could have got a couple of assists tonight. So
yeah,
I thought that they both played pretty well. So they're probably my man of the match.
Not a bad shout. Rich, what about you? Would you agree with what Matthew said?
Yeah, I think so. Because I think it's difficult to pick too many players coming out with a lot of credit. I mean, I think Bruno. The thing that disappointed me most was we had quite a few attacks where we were in quite promising positions, and it was just the final pass. Yeah, I think Marshall should have put that chance away early on because it's quite central. He could, like you said, the keeper made a save, but I don't think the keeper should have even had a chance to make a save because I see Cavani just burying that almost.
Taking what he's been able to produce.
Just it's one of those ones where you can just hit it with power, and he's so close. But and maybe Bruno Fernandes looked the most likely. Tellez, obviously, it's his first game. For me, the thing that I joke about quite often with these matches is that the substitutions are way too late.
Yes, they
are. Expecting it to be different, and also because Pogba didn't even feature as a sub, I'm surprised Van der Beek can't get in the team then. And I think it's
joke.
So I think also that was the biggest. The lineup was a surprise because I wasn't expecting to see us have the double pivot and have Lindelof playing at all. And then it wasn't really much surprise that we had quite a lot of, or quite slow going forward. And I think that, and against West Brom, I know they're not a great team, so we should have gone more attacking, and then it could have been, I was expecting 3-0. So we won the game, but it doesn't feel like a win, which is a bit of a weird thing to say, because to go with the penalty, I think that when they got a penalty, I wasn't expecting it to be overturned, so I'm guessing that means it was a penalty. That it was quite close, but you see, like he touched the bloke's leg. I think maybe the way he's thrown himself forward hasn't helped him, but I was surprised. But at least the referee that gave the penalty is the referee looking at the monitor and deciding. But then again, that makes me more surprised that he changed his mind because
if he doesn't look at the monitor, I don't think it gets changed.
We had a very good view of it when he first gave it, and then I don't know. So I think we got away with it. I think Bruno did quite well. Tellez did quite well. I mean, we didn't give them too many chances. I think David De Gea did all right again, but it's difficult. I think that some players like Marshall, I think someone wrote in the comments saying he looks disinterested, and I can see it.
Lacks confidence.
He doesn't carry the fight maybe when you need someone to kind of carry the fight. He doesn't.
I don't think he's playing in the right position. Honestly, I'm sorry to interrupt, Rich, but I don't think he's playing in the right position, if I'm being honest. He's been a winger converted to play centre forward. That's what I see in Marshall.
So when he was taking players on, he looks quite confident, but then when he has to be the main man.
That's what a winger should do. That's what he was doing when he joined. When he was at Monaco, he was a left winger. Now we've converted him to play centre forward. And the formation that we're playing isn't helping him at all because he's got to sit up there on his own and hope something's going to happen. And he's playing again, and there's going to be two centre forwards in front of him.
It's not playing to his strength, like we say a lot of times, that you put players in positions they're not 100% comfortable with. You don't get the best out of them, which again comes down to like the manager and the sort of formation, the tactics, the subs, and I know the thing is, I want it to succeed, but I just keep seeing the same thing over and over again. And this kind of
we're not succeeding.
The 80th minute.
Right this season off, seriously.
But 85 minutes. Yeah, why you make a sub on 85 minutes is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And he was.
And it's Scott McTominay coming on.
Well, as soon as he came on, I knew he was defending it.
Thank God Sean's not here. Thank God.
Oh, mate, it'd be a bloodbath. But I mean that's why for Ollie it was vital that he won this game. If we come out of the game with a draw and he'd made the substitutions that he had, I don't think I'd be. I mean, I've defended Solskjaer a lot, and I think that if we'd not come out with a win from that game today, it would have been difficult to defend what happened. It'd be very, very difficult. But so for him, that penalty is massive for him, really. And I mean, I guess it's obviously massive for the fact that we're now in the top half of the table at least with a game in hand. Probably after tomorrow's results.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, I know.
We're going to win the league.
Hey, I'll tell you what, guys. We're only 7 points off top. We're only 7 points off top. Only 7 points off top. We can do it.
And we're scraping past West Brom with a penalty. Let's go.
We're
above City.
Exactly. We're above Man City. So realistically,
but we're playing terrible.
Oh.
But there's the thing. Yeah, they did. And to be fair, I mean, it's not a Spurs channel, but they played very well.
Spurs' next 6 games are actually quite difficult, to be fair. If they get out of that, then I would say they can seriously. I want Spurs to win. I really do, because it just shows Mourinho can go to Tottenham, the club that has been cursed with not winning a trophy in forever, and then he can take over from Pochettino, and then he brought in minimal players. Let's be honest, he's not really changed much. He's brought in Reguilon, who's a starter at left back. He's brought in Højbjerg, who's a starter in midfield. Sugar, and what's the other guy's name? I can't remember his name now. Vincius.
Did he bring in Lo Celso as that Pochettino signing?
No. That was a Pochettino signing. But Mourinho made it permanent. So I don't know. But like I say, it's just he's brought in like 2 players, and it's changed everything. And the funny thing is, in his first proper season with us, when he had a full season, when he had like a start, he managed right from the start. He got second. And so it's funny how Tottenham are playing really well now. And then Liverpool aren't exactly good defensively. If you've got good attackers, you can beat Liverpool. Let's be exactly. Yeah, we're very light. I'm loving it. Can't wait for the Liverpool game. We'll probably get destroyed, and they've still not got any defenders. The one time we can actually beat them.
What I would say with the Liverpool game, though, is that actually it might play into our hands the fact that against Liverpool, because we're much better at counter-attacking, and obviously against Liverpool we're just going to sit back and absorb pressure for 9 minutes. So
probably play 5 at the back. Yeah,
exactly.
A speciality.
Yeah, I'm sure if he was here, he'd make a comment about that. Oh, he is. He said to me, he wasn't going to come on because he said, he said to me he'd be having McDonald's regardless of. He said if we win, I'll get McDonald's, and if we lose, I'll also get McDonald's. So regardless, I'm getting McDonald's. It doesn't matter. So he says he's eating. Yeah, I didn't ask him that. What happens if it was a draw? He just wouldn't go with dinner. No dinner tonight with a draw. But Matty, you wanted to add. Matty, you wanted to add on to something that Tom was saying?
Nah, I don't think so.
Oh, sorry, Matt. I thought you did. Sorry, Matthew. Okay.
I lost my train of thought, so.
Oh, no worries. I'll come to you anyway, Matthew. And I think what I just want to ask you, I guess, is I'll ask everyone, and this will be the last thing I ask everyone before we wrap it up. Thanks everyone for commenting, by the way. So I haven't read out more comments, but I am reading them. Don't worry, we're all reading them. So make sure you keep getting them in. But yeah, I want to ask you about the future with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. We seem to talk about this after every Man United game, but we're seeing, as Rich said, we're seeing the same pattern over and over again. And obviously, you've got the Einstein quote. Obviously, I don't need to, the fact that if you keep doing the same thing and expecting different results, it's insanity. For you, looking at this performance today, does it give you any sort of do you see any light at the end of the tunnel from the fact that we played a certain way against Everton and we thought, you know what, we can build on this and hopefully continue playing this way, and if we do, then that'll be a lot better. And once again, we haven't learned from that, and we've gone back to playing the same sort of way against these low block sides, and we've just scraped through. So does this result change anything about how you see our future with or without Ole Gunnar Solskjaer?
Unfortunately, it doesn't. I mean, I'm very pleased with the last two results. We have been able to grind out a result. Didn't play particularly well in either game, but took our chance as well. But no, I don't really see.
It's time to go.
I don't really see us challenging under Ole. I think there's the lineup seems to be changing every week. There seems to be no real style of play, no formation really. I think we need to sort of pick our starting 11 first. I'd play with one CDM. I wouldn't carry on with these two CDMs. You're not going to win a title like that. So yeah, and we need to start Donny van der Beek, obviously. But I'm trying to be patient, but I think
2 years now.
Yeah.
That's the main thing that kills me. 2 years, and we're in the same predicament. We was losing 2-0 at home to Cardiff City, who had already been relegated. We can pretty much say West Brom are going to be relegated, and we're just scraping 1-0.
I also think the problem with Solskjaer as well, in some ways, is the fact he doesn't have that previous pedigree. You know, you look at someone like Poch, who has been able to rejuvenate and kind of bring a Spurs side from being kind of just getting in the top half kind of Europa League spots to going to a Champions League final. He has that sort of pedigree of being able to do that on a low budget. But with Solskjaer, he's come in from managing Cardiff and Mulder.
I wouldn't trust him with money anymore. I wouldn't trust him with money. €40 million player on the bench, and he gets 10 minutes. Cavani, if you would have bought him, would have probably cost you about €20 million, sitting on the bench all the time. If you can't start against West Brom, when are they going to start? Seriously, against Accrington Stanley?
Yeah.
When? No, it's a laugh though.
He'd probably sooner start a Galo. And Cavani somehow managed. I just imagine that. Imagine even in like an FA Cup third round game, Van der Beek still doesn't get on. He's still not starting. Even Phil Jones. He's just looking at Phil. What is this? Phil Jones is getting on. But yeah, I mean, one other thing as well was I'm surprised Axel Tuanzebe didn't start. I know we were talking about him in the preview a little bit. But I think obviously we touched on it a bit when we were talking about Lindelof and the fact that we all thought he was injured, but he played 90 minutes. But yeah, I'm surprised Tuanzebe didn't get any sort of minutes in this game, really. I saw him warming up, but obviously he didn't get any minutes. But yeah, Rich, I'll ask the same thing I asked Matty there. And thanks to Matty for coming on. I'm not sure if he's still here. If he isn't, then thanks for coming on. And make sure you check out United Fan Focus as well, I think, is his channel. He's starting that back up, so make sure you check it out if you haven't already. But yeah, I'll ask the same thing with you, Rich, really. In terms of a future with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at the helm at Manchester United, what does he need to do to get to have your trust and your faith in him, that we are going to improve and be a better side with him and succeed with him as the manager? Or do you think that realistically the amount of chances he's had to prove to you that he can be a good manager and we can be successful with him, and the amount of times that we've kind of gone back to our poor habits, do you think it's too far gone now for him to prove that, or do you think there's still a bit of time left for him?
I think it's difficult because we obviously we need to go on a significantly good run for opinions to change now, because we have a few good results. Like the Paris Saint-Germain result was very good. Leipzig, I think maybe the late goals made it look better than it was because it's quite a tight game for most of the game. But against Everton, there's a lot of signs of improvement. After going goal down, we showed a lot of fight and we actually showed a lot of energy in that game. But it's like West Brom. There's too many games like this. Obviously, I'm happy that we played badly and won. And if we can just go on a significant run where we actually start looking like we're playing a lot better during the game, not just the results, but also substitutions on 85 minutes and 80 minutes continually. What's the point of that? Because they don't change the game. It's just annoying because Van der Beek's coming on for 10 minutes each time. It's more like to get injured than anything if he only plays 10 or 15 minutes every single game. So, and particularly as he keeps persisting with Maguire and Lindelof, and we know that when he does that, because they have no pace, he then has to have 2 defensive midfielders, which then just stifles the whole attack. Against West Brom, I mean, against PSG, fair enough, you want to be defensive. Against West Brom, you just want to blow them away. And if that's not a game where Donny can't start with his energy and pace, and when is he going to start? Because I think maybe Istanbul was a game to rest players and play a lot high energy against West Brom. Istanbul, we made them look average last time, but they're not a good team. So I think he needs to just show maybe a difference to this repeating pattern of like one good performance every 3 or 4 games, and then lots of quite poor performances, poor results. Very defensive against an average Arsenal team. Very defensive against. When we tried to attack Chelsea a bit towards the end of the game, we looked like the team most likely to win. But if we'd have played like that for 90 minutes, I think we maybe would have won the game. I mean, these aren't great teams we're playing against, but we're showing them way too much respect and maybe too much caution because we play with too much. We don't. Why doesn't Tuanzebe start? I'd like to see him start because he looked fantastic in Europe. He's got pace as well. Like Tom said, how much money would you want to give Solskjaer? Because regardless of who we sign, we should be doing better than we are with who we've got. We don't have significant injuries. We've got a lot of midfielders that walk into most other teams. We don't have any significant defensive injuries. We've got 2 goalkeepers as good as anyone in the Premier League. We've got lots of pieces there that are good. So why are we struggling to beat most teams? I mean, who have we blown away this year? I don't think anyone. I mean, Newcastle with a lot of late goals, but we haven't really dominated someone for 90 minutes where we've wrapped the game up at half time like we used to. So I don't know. I think it's difficult because when now Liverpool are winning, it's even worse for Manchester United fans. And I feel that slight sense of urgency because I think this is the best team we've had since Ferguson. It's the best squad. So I think we should be doing better. And I think, like Tom keeps talking about Mourinho winning, I think this team we had that came second is not as good as the team we got now. So I think if Mourinho had the Manchester United squad playing like, but I think to answer your question, it's difficult. I think he needs to change a lot of behaviour, a lot of patterns, tactically and performance-wise. Otherwise, it's just going to be an endless cycle, isn't it? But if they do get rid of him, I'll say this: if they do get rid of him, there needs to be changes to the structure and how we sign players. There needs to be director of football and all that sort of thing brought in place, because otherwise you will end up with a manager not getting quite the right support from the club, which I don't think Solskjaer has either. So it's a bit, it can be harsh to judge him based on that, because I think that we've messed up the windows. So Dad's just falling off. So
just by the way, sorry. If anyone's confused of what I'm doing, I'm playing Among Us at the same time, so that's why I look at someone.
Sponsored by Among Us. Sponsored by Among Us.
Hey, as I said before, Tom, if they want to sponsor us, please feel free to do so.
I'm not too bothered.
But yeah, I think it's difficult. Yeah,
I think it's difficult to back him if it keeps happening. To be honest, I don't want to say us changing managers for no good reason, but you kind of think, like Tom said, it's been 2 years, so I don't know.
Yeah, I think that is the thing for me, is that I'm worried about the lack of consistency, and it's something which I'm sure all United fans are worried about, and I think it's something that most United fans kind of can't wrap their head around almost. The fact that we've made these improvements to the team, and we can go on such a good run as we did towards the end of last season, and we see that and we think, okay, we're starting to turn the corner. Bruno Fernandes is playing out of his skin. Pogba seems to be playing well. Like, finally, everything's coming into place. And then all of a sudden, we get the result like we did against Crystal Palace. And it's the most frustrating thing, really, is that it's hard to pinpoint like the areas where, okay, this is the area we need to strengthen. Let's go out and strengthen it. It seems like every time we strengthen an area, another problem appears. And so I don't think there's ever been a point where, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, where we haven't had any problems with the way we're playing or the lineups or anything, and everything's just fallen into place. There's always seems to be one area which is just not there. So that, I think for me, the consistency is going to be the major factor really. But if we go on a run, if we go on a decent run till past January, February, I think we could put ourselves in contention for top 4 again. But realistically,
it's not going to happen.
You killed my dreams, Tom. You killed my dreams straight away.
No, serious. No, I'm sorry. In terms of what, I look at Mourinho, and I'm sorry to keep referring back to Tottenham because it pisses me off. But Harry Kane is a striker. You can see what has changed with Tottenham's system. Mourinho isn't playing like he was at Man United. Let's be honest here. Mourinho would not have played Martial as like a striker who somehow turns into a midfielder and brings other players into play. Kane was a goal scorer who's now been converted into a deep playing midfielder for some reason. But it's working. It is working, and that's why players like Son and that are scoring the goals, and Kane's assisting, because it used to be the other way around. Now it's a complete change of system, and it's completely different. Like I say, honestly, I can't understand how it can be defended anymore, to be honest, because I'm sick of hearing, the words time and money. I hate hearing those two words. As much as I hate hearing talent around Paul Pogba, I hate these two words. Because, A, you're telling me all he needs more time. In 2 years, say if Pochettino took this team now from 2 years' time, I'll guarantee you this. He would be qualifying for the top 4, year on, year out, and he would make inroads in terms of competitions, getting to finals. If it's not getting to final, he would win something like an FA Cup with his team. He would win something like an FA Cup with his team, with his system. Players like Van der Beek suit a Pochettino system. Players like Fernandes suit a Pochettino system. Rashford would be playing like Heung-min Son was for Tottenham. Exactly, he would be playing like that. So similar. So similar. I'm not saying, Martial's going to turn into Harry Kane or anything like that. No, I'm not saying Harry Maguire's going to turn into, Virgil van Dijk overnight. No, because he needs to buy his own players. But I hate hearing the word time. There's been 2 years at this now, and I hate hearing the word money. How much? If you want me to actually calculate it, because I did calculate it a couple of days ago, right? Let's just filter this in. Daniel James, Harry Maguire, Wan-Bissaka. First window, right? Then he buys Igalo. Then he gets Igalo on loan. Then he gets Fernandes, right? Just factor in the amount of money we spent on these players in terms of and loans, because loans do add up as well. Then you counteract that you had to extend Igalo's loan because of COVID. Then you've blown 40 million euros, such as Van der Beek. You brought in Tevez for the money that you did, and you've brought in Cavani, having to pay £10 million in agent fees. When you add that up, it amounts to over £200 million. Just under or over £200 million.
Yeah.
In 2 years. In 7 years, we've spent £1 billion since Alex Ferguson left. 4 different managers, 4 different kinds of players, 4 different kinds of projects. And where are we now? What have we actually done from now? We've won a Europa League, we've won an FA Cup, we've won a Carabao Cup. What to do?
We finished second because we lost.
We've finished second. We've qualified for the top 4 twice. Whoa, it's amazing. Yeah, come on, let's be serious here now. Why are we still talking about Ole? To be honest, because we all know he's not going to win a Premier League title, and we all know at some point he's going to have to hand over the baton to somebody else. And the thing is, people don't actually understand this. He's been in the job 2 years now. He signed a 3-year contract the following January. So, not this January, next year's January, he will be out of contract unless it gets extended. And all I can say is this. If you extend this man's contract, what does that actually prove? The only thing I'll say is, what does that actually prove? It proves that you want to give him a contract, but you don't want to give him anything to help him. So what? So he's just going to be used as a blame game. Because they're sick and tired of, Woodward's sick and tired of it being his name mentioned or the Glazers mentioned. So we're going to shove it off to somebody else. Let's shove it off to a club legend. Like I say, we Ole, in terms of being a manager, he's not a manager. He's not a manager and he's not a coach. Let's get this straight. At best, and I've said it before, he is a scout or he's a director. He is in the wrong job because he can see a young player from a mile away because he saw Greenwood. Greenwood's a really good young player. And he's seen Erling Haaland when he was in Norway. And look at where Erling Haaland is now. So he can see a young player. So there you go. He could be a scout. He could be a scout. Director of football. He's brought in good players. He knows the game of football. He knows how to run a football club. What I would seriously consider is get Edwin van der Sar, but get Edwin van der Sar plus an assistant. Get someone who has been at the club recently. Now, if that is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, if that is Michael Carrick, whoever it is, get somebody who has been in more recently and runs the football side of the club. For me, I'd put a name forward. I'd put Patrice Evra forward. Seriously, I'd put Patrice Evra forward. And I've seen so many comparisons because the passion that he's shown when Man United lost 6-1 to Spurs, to break somebody like that, Evra was one of my favourite players of all time, if I'm being honest. In terms of defenders, I absolutely loved him. My whole family loved him, to be honest with you. And I'm not a massive fan of, players, defenders and stuff. However, Patrice Evra was an exception for me. But, like I'm saying here, I'm rabbiting on everything, but why are we still talking about Ole as being here? We know he's going to have to hand over the baton at some point. Why not now?
So you would say we should start planning already with playing for life after him, basically? Kieran,
he shouldn't even be here. He should be already gone. Istanbul. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
Right? And we've been playing absolutely poorly since probably the Copenhagen game in the Europa League. The following season, this is when we've been playing worse. From the back end of last season, we've been playing absolutely pants. And then we're coming into this season. We've carried it over from last season. No, not Neil Warnock. Please, God, no. God, no. No.
We get some more entertaining press conference answers at least.
We want to see somebody
that's what United is.
We want to see somebody smiling there week in, week out. And that's another thing that pisses me off. How can he smile tonight? How can he smile after
He was going to go on
amateur
celebrity, actually.
Neil,
send him in there.
Heard that,
Send him in
press
there.
conference.
How can you smile?
Yeah, I mean, I understand where you're coming from. And I think whenever you see something as like inevitable, you do kind of think, if it is inevitable, then we may as well start putting in, as Rich saying, the change in the structure of how we do stuff.
Give him a January transfer. Give a new manager a January transfer window, so he's at least got a little bit of time. Because what we'll do is we'll drag all this out, and I know it's not going to happen. I know we're not going to sack him. Yeah, what we'll do is we'll drag it out until the end of the season, until the last Premier League game, when he doesn't qualify for the top four. Because we're not qualifying for top four. I'm clarifying this now. Liverpool will get a top four place. I'm telling you, Liverpool. I'm calling the top four now. Liverpool will get a top four place. Chelsea will get a top four place. Spurs will get a top four place. And you want to say who the other team will be? Won't be Arsenal. So Sifo can go and shove his bollocks.
Could be Southampton at this
It'll be Leicester. Leicester will get the top four this season. Leicester. I'm telling you, those four teams. I don't know who's going to win the league at the moment, but them four teams will be the top four. Man United will not get top four this season. We can go in January. We could buy half of Europe's best players out there. I still don't think we'd get top four with this manager. Honestly,
be lucky to finish in Europa League.
And when we don't finish top four, well, we might even get dumped into the Europa League. Who knows what's going to happen in the Champions League? To be hontake
if we lose against Istanbul, it's going to be very, very tense. Very
exactly.
tense.
All I'm going to say is this:
I don't think you'll beat them.
if we take a massive hit in terms of don't qualify for the Champions League. When a manager at Man United does that, we get into the Champions League one year, then you don't qualify the following year. When that happens, we sack the manager. We did it with Van Gaal. He won an FA Cup rather than qualifying for the Champions League. That wasn't good enough for the Glazers. Out the door you go. Mourinho was the exact same. He wasn't going to qualify for the Champions League in his final season. He wasn't going to qualify, so they had to get rid of him and get somebody new in and try to save the season midway through it. That is not going to happen here. And people are already getting assumptions of, so we can see the problems are there. We're just going to go and buy some people in January. Who are we honestly going to buy in January? Let's be honest. Who is going to want to come to this? And I'm sorry to keep swearing. This shithole at the moment. Who is going to want to come and join this shithole at the moment? Let's be honest. I would rather go to Spurs at the moment than come here.
Player, maybe.
I would rather. No, seriously, I would rather go
another
to
Daniel
like
James in the pipeline, maybe.
I would rather go to Southampton at the moment. They're playing better than us.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I wouldn't mind a Sunderland leaving.
No, I see where you're coming from, Tom. I do see your frustrations. I see. But I think, I mean, it's very difficult to predict what's going to happen. I personally think they'll probably will roll with Solskjaer because I think it's the least expensive option.
Exactly. You don't have to pay to sack him mid-season. You don't have to blow out 10 million to get rid of him.
And also, if they do sack Solskjaer and bring in Poch or bring in somebody else, they'll be forced to back him. So they're not realistically in the COVID
scenario. Use him as a scapegoat. And
exactly.
And that's what I mean. And that's the main thing that annoyed me in the summer was they used the excuse of people dying to not spend money. Yeah. They used the excuse of people. How disgusting is that? No, seriously. Over 50,000 people have died. 50,000 people have died. Some of them were actually Man United fans. When you think about it, some of them will have been football fans. And you're using that as an excuse to not spend money. Tottenham have spent £1 billion on a new stadium. They still find money from somewhere. And Daniel Levy is one of the stingiest people you will ever meet in football. A lot worse than Ed Woodward. Let's get this straight. A lot worse than Ed Woodward. But somehow that connection, Mourinho and Levy's actually working. But Mourinho and Ed Woodward doesn't. What does that show you? And this is what I mean. We are not a football club. We are a franchise to the American, to the Asian, and to the European market. We are a franchise. We are an advertisement. That is what we are. And you can clearly see that when we go on pre-season tours. We are just an advertisement. And like I said it a couple of weeks ago, the pinpoint now, our new nickname is AC Milan 2.0. That is what we have become. AC Milan 2.0. We are the English version of AC Milan. We've not done anything for years. We've not won a trophy. We've not won a trophy in 4 years. We've not even come close to winning the Premier League in 7. We've not even come close. In some years, we're not even qualified for the Champions League. What have we actually achieved in 7 years since Ferguson's? Let's be honest. We've achieved a Europa League, a Community Shield, an FA Cup, a Carabao Cup. That's it. It's not good. It's not good. It's not good enough. It's not. Food Talker says we're the New York Knicks of football, and the only thing I know about basketball, the only thing I know is that the Lakers won and the Knicks are absolutely terrible. I don't think we're that bad yet, mate. I don't think we're that bad yet.
I know about basketball.
I know Rich obviously. Rich is our resident expert on NBA. I know if you want NBA content as well, make sure you go check out Rich Sports. But guys, I'm probably gonna have to end it there. I do apologise. I wish it could go on longer or as long as it usually does. But thank you so much, everyone, for coming on. Daz's Football Stand. Rich, thanks for coming on as well from Rich Sports. Really appreciate it. Make sure you check out his watch along and also his preview as well for this game and all his other videos as well. And make sure you check out Tom on Twitter. Tom, if you want to put your Twitter out in the live chat, please do feel free to do so. But yeah, thanks everyone for coming on. Really appreciate it. And thanks to everyone for commenting as well.
The shitstorm is coming. Let's wait. Istanbul. Roll on Istanbul.
Istanbul.
Yeah. We'll be ready to preview that game. I'm sure. Rich as well. We preview it. Make sure you check out that as well. But the only thing I can really say as well as a positive is the fact there's no more internationals until March, and there's a good run of games. So it's good that we'll be able to do more videos. That's it's all about content. All about the content. That's the question. And if you want to answer that,
leave it in the comments.
Yeah, live chat, the comment section down below. Tom's question of the day: will Solskjaer be here by what you say, Istanbul?
No, I said by the next international break.
Okay, yeah. Will Ole Gunnar Solskjaer be here by the next international break? If you want to answer that in the comments, please do feel free to do that in the comments down below. Will Ole Gunnar Solskjaer survive past March? Let us know in the comments below. Yeah, who knows? Oh, imagine. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next one, which will probably be the Istanbul preview. So hold on to your hats for that one. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys all in a bit.